Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz Chess postmortem video. It's a postmortem of my Blitz Chess game number 86, where my opponent kicked off with d4, and he went into the Torre attack, which is one of those systems that white can play almost regardless of what black does. Let's move ahead a few moves. If you look at the opening book, d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, these are all normal moves, and then bishop g5. So if this bishop g5 had been played a couple moves earlier, this would be called the Trompowsky, but the intent here is to play the Torre system with a pawn triangle, with the pawns on e3 and c3. You'll see this later in the game. And the idea, this system is similar to the London system, although in the London system the bishop is on f4 instead of g5. And it's also similar to the call system where white sets up the pawn triangle and leaves the bishop back on c1 for later deployment. So these systems are all related. The call system with the bishop here, the London system with the bishop here, and the Torre attack with the bishop on g5. And they seem like kind of quiet systems because white is not aggressively trying to own the center. He's just setting up a defensive pawn triangle. But they all have some attacking ideas to them. Basically, white is just trying to set up a very solid structure so he doesn't come under attack, and then he feels free to launch some kind of raging kingside attack, and that's the usual plan. So we go forward here. We'll see e3 instead of c4, which is the more typical queen's pawn move, but that's not characteristic of these systems. The idea with these systems is to play the move. It's this one, c3, c3, e3. So now he's got the full pawn triangle set up. He retreated his bishop back to f4, which is sort of an odd move after he had played it to g5, since he could have just gone there in one go. But he has provoked this move h3, so perhaps he's accomplished something. Anyway, let's take a look at this from the notation point of view, and I think we'll keep the engine on. You think the engine thinks that black is pretty much equal, and until I make a couple of maybe positional type mistakes. But it's okay here to go after that bishop. That's one of the main ideas, especially after he's castled, so he's not threatening to open up the h-file and attack this way. And where the computer thinks I'm going wrong is here. I play the moves knight to e4 and then f5, and you'll see the evaluation swings from being about even here to after knight f4, e4, and then f5, which was almost forced because of this pressure on the e4 square. And the problem is I've opened up a hole on g6, and the knight can drop in there and get the bishop back. So I lose the advantage of the bishop pair that I had previously. And in fact, if you look at this position, I just played the knight from f6 to e4, and after queen c2, the computer thinks my best move is to move the knight back to f6. So that says in this position I should probably not play f6 at all and continue with a different plan, like bishop d7, c4, kicking his bishop, queen a5. I wonder what it thinks of b6. That's another idea. Okay, doesn't think it's too awful. I mean, just gives us b7 square for the bishop, b7, queen c7, knight c6, and queen c7. So that's playable too. But the way I played with knight e4 and f5 is not particularly good because of this knight g6 move. And he gets the bishop. I no longer have the advantage of the bishop pair, and white has a pretty good edge here. And he keeps it for quite a while. The computer didn't really approve of the way I played this here. Let's see, when did it go down? Instead of g5, it thinks queen c7 is a better idea. Okay, I just wanted to be able to answer knight g6 with queen to g7 and chase it away. But maybe that wasn't such a big threat. Anyway, f3 is recommended, and he plays it. And you see that white has a pretty good advantage through here. This is bigger than the normal opening advantage. And he keeps the edge most of the way through. You'll see he doesn't mess up. Oh, maybe queen e1 wasn't an accurate move. So it thinks rook f e1. Yeah, there was no need to move the queen off of that post there. I'm not really threatening anything here, and it is defending g2, which is important. And his pieces here prevent me from really lining up on the open G file, which is what I want to do, but he's controlling these squares with his bishop, his knight, and his pawn. So it's just tough for me to get organized here. So queen e1 gives me a little hope here. Thinks I should be playing c takes d4. I guess the problem is that later on you'll see white has the option of playing d takes c4 and winning a pawn over here, which he never plays, but that gives an extra option. So it's interesting here. Thinks I should play something like c takes d4 and then knight takes d4. Yeah, winning a pawn here and giving up the exchange. Makes sense. Or bishop a6 harassing the rook, and then c takes d4. Okay, a couple ideas. I play this move knight e3, and what I found interesting was I was expecting him to take the rook, and then I was hoping to get counterplay here. Because he takes the rook with check, so I can't mate him right away, and he has time to defend. So let's see how this would have gone. Knight takes f6 check. I was going to play rook takes f6. And rook f2. And he's defending everything, and he's won the exchange, but the computer does not think this is so great for white, so I guess I have adequate compensation here, and it thinks queen takes f6 would be even better. And rook f2 again. I guess he still has to worry about this pawn eventually, and then cd, cd, queen takes d4. Okay, I win another pawn over here. So that would have been an interesting way to play. But he didn't take my rook, he took my knight, which is the computer recommended move. So now he's pretty much a pawn up. And without any complications, we have exactly the same material with rooks and bishops of the same color. So he's just pawn ahead. And but I keep playing, and you know, you always have to hope your opponent screws up at some point. And here, actually, this is the point I was talking about. Yeah, it was in the previous move and the next move. D takes c5 over here is probably pretty good because he can just win a pawn over here, and nothing's happening yet on the king side, not a whole lot. But he shores up the king side, and I keep maneuvering, and he retreats the bishop. What does it say instead of that? Oh, yeah, he could have attacked my rook here. This was the way to play it. You know, this is a good tactics lesson to keep in mind. When one of your pieces is attacked, can you attack one of your opponent's pieces? And then this actually, he wins the exchange because my rook has no squares to go to. Well, it's not entirely true. h4, rook g to g6. Bishop takes h5. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. Let's see how this line would go. h4. I was thinking of a different position where that rook actually seemed like it was trapped. And then he grabs this pawn over here, and rook to h6. And then bishop back to g4. Yeah, he's just picked up another pawn. So that would have been good. So always remember that idea of counterattacking, and when your pieces are attacked, that's always something to look for. If you can find it, it's often a strong alternative. Okay, bishop h3, he retreats. He's still winning here. And plays, again, c takes d4 would have been a good idea. But he plays this move g3 instead. So g3 is a weakening move, and it allows me to play h4. What else does it say? Oh, f4. Maybe this is the point I was thinking of. Yeah, after f4, my rook is just trapped. It says f4, rook f6, and then he can take it with the bishop. Oh, no. Okay, let's take a look at this line. It's a little more complicated. f4, rook f6 pins that pawn. Then queen to h4, pressuring it. Okay, rook back to g6. And okay, it's losing this pawn over here again, but he can harass the rook first with f5. Rook g5, and f takes e6. So that looks pretty strong. f5, rook g5, f takes e6. And that's an adequately defended pawn. So he's got a very strong passed pawn here all of a sudden. So again, you know, look for those aggressive counterattacking moves. After f4, I don't really have the option of playing here because his bishop is guarding it. So he can just take with the bishop, and this is adequately defended. Rook takes, queen takes, queen takes, rook takes. He's just a couple of pieces up, so that would not be good. But he played g3 and allows me to play h4. And now computer recommends g4. Yeah, I was going to say, he should probably just push past with g4, not allow me to open up any lines here. It says he could also try bishop g4 as a way to keep the advantage. So either of those moves, and white is still in the game with a slight edge. But he played bishop takes e6 check. And you always have to be careful. Sometimes it seems like it's safe to play a move because it's check. But you have to look ahead all the way through it. And he played rook takes e6 here, and now this is just losing. At this point, it says g4 needs to be played. And so he's basically sacrificed a bishop, and he has some pawns as compensation, but black has a slight edge. But he compounds the mistake by playing rook takes e6, and now it's all over. So I just take here, and he can check me, and he can pin my queen, which he did. It looks like h takes g3 is the best move. Let's look at the best defense here. H takes g3, rook takes g3 check, king f1. Of course, if he goes to h1, he's getting mated or losing massive amounts of material there, it looks like. And yeah, king h1 is a mate in 3. Okay, rook h3 check, queen h2, rook takes h2 check. Yeah. So that's the way you mate. Actually, this is an interesting thing to know. So if the king goes this way, you don't want to mate with rook h6. You want to mate with rook h3 check. Keep these two together on this file. And the queen has to interpose. You can take the queen, king comes forward, and then queen there is mate. So that would be game over. Okay, but anyway, h takes g3, rook there. So the king goes to f1. And then rook g1 check. Yeah, you've still got two pieces supporting the rook there, so the king has to run away. And then rook takes here check. Queen takes e1, or king takes e1. About the same. Let's try queen takes. And rook g2 check. So yeah, it looks like you're just driving him crazy here. The king has, where can the king go? King to e3, king to d3, queen g6 check, rook e4. Okay, because the king has no moves. So okay, so finally the attack crashes through. So if he had defended with h takes g3, I'm still winning. But he played rook 8 to e7, pinning the queen against the king. But now there's just no defense. So this is actually a mate in 7. And I played it okay. G takes h2. King h1, rook g1 check, rook takes g1, and yeah, h takes g1, queen or rook. Yeah, so this is the key idea. You have to queen the pawn there, and then when he takes back, it's just all over here. He should take that, of course. Oh, he can't take it because the queen's defending. Yeah, so he has to go there, only move, and then you grab here. Then you grab here, and he takes here. And now it's an easy win. There were just a few more moves before he resigned. I just put the king in a box, and then I moved my king forward. So I'm just going to march to here, to here, to here, and then bring my queen over here with checkmate. So pretty simple win from that point. Yeah, mate in 4. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. And if you have any comments, leave them in the section below, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.